So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today for this free 1 hour webinar. My name is Dr. Chudley Wirch, and I'm CEO and founder at Prevention Plus Wellness, located here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing where you're at with whom you're working and your name, and that's all done in the chat space. And so you guys can continue to look at that if you'd like. And so we'll have approximately an hour, I think, but I'll spend as much time as you need here. And this is your hour. So if you have questions and comments, go to the Q&A space. I think that's best. The Q&A space. And click on that option. And I was saying we still have some more awesome people coming in from Ohio, from South Carolina. I can go on and on. So, but anyway, go to Q&A anytime you want and type in your question or your comment, and I'll get those, especially at the end of today's session. So the Q&A is where you want to ask questions or make comments. And I see people are continuing to sign in today as they come on in the chat space. So we've got an hour to spend today, and I am recording this, so no worries if you've got to leave for an emergency or an important meeting or something like that, because I will be sending you the recording of the session. Today's session is on implementing the sport, alcohol and drug, and other one lesson PPW, that's Prevention Plus Wellness program. So that's what we'll be focusing on. We'll be talking about sport. Sport addresses largely alcohol in relation to harming desired future images of young people and their health habits, the big three health behaviors in particular: physical activity and sports participation, breakfast and nutrition, sleep, but also even stress control. All that is addressed within this integrated one session, 45-minute lesson. And then we have adaptations of the sport program. We've got sport, alcohol, cannabis. So what we did there is we took out some of the redundant alcohol messaging and we put in some marijuana prevention messaging. So we've got the sport, alcohol, and cannabis 45-minute lesson. These are all obviously brief motivational interventions. We've got the marijuana prevention plus wellness program, opioid prevention plus wellness, vaping, which is the e-cigarette prevention plus wellness program. We also have programs that are multi-session, but we're not addressing those today. We're going to focus on just the single session programs. We've got programs for children, young adolescents, older adolescents, young adults, and even adults. All of these, I think, are really important, because no matter what your age, where you're at in life, reflecting on your health habits, getting motivational interventions, and thinking about aspirational images of yourself in the future, being more fit, active, healthy, successful, et cetera. It's a universal thing that we all want for ourselves and for our loved ones and our children and our peers, et cetera. And setting goals to initiate that behavior change, not just to avoid risk habits that can keep us back from achieving our ideal selves, but also to start moving forward and enhancing our health habits, again, particularly physical activity, nutrition, sleep, as well as stress control. So that's the model. That's the Prevention Plus Wellness model. And today we're going to look at sport, alcohol, and drug. And in fact, the 4-session objectives are that we're going to be at the end of today's session, you'll be able to determine the varieties and the components of the one lesson substance use prevention plus wellness program. So we'll be going through that today, the varieties, and I've already talked about the varieties. We'll look at the components. Secondly, you'll be able to review the sport PPW individual and group scripts. We'll talk about both those scripts, your manual, that if you were to use any of our Prevention Plus Wellness programs, the physical manual or the digital manual, has two scripts in it. So first of all, let me just say scripting. Scripting makes it easier to use, allows almost anybody to implement these programs, increases fidelity over time and across space and implementers. And the flexibility, you can present this to youth individually. That could be all youth, universal prevention intervention, or high-risk youth, such as those caught using on campus, for example, selective indicative use. Even in recovery, these programs can be used. So you can use these programs as prevention intervention as well as in recovery. They're perfect because they address those lifestyle habits that are essential to mental and physical well-being. So you have two scripts, as I said, one to implement this to youth individually, another to implement it to youth in groups. And you can also implement your sport or other PPW programs virtually. A third objective is to list the steps for implementing your PPW program. So we'll look at those as well. And then lastly, how to evaluate your program in terms of quality and outcomes or efficacy or effectiveness. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into this. Remember, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, welcome to participate. Find the Q&A and go ahead and enter that, and then we'll address those as we go along. I see we have some more people that have logged in. We got people from California now, which is awesome. Connecticut, I'm going backwards here in case I missed anybody, but I think we saw North Carolina and Ohio and California, as I said. And what do we got here? Miriam is from, didn't say right there, but people from, we got people, Michigan, the great state of Michigan. So we got people from all over the US, including we have one person from Kenya, which is awesome. So let's take a look at the sport program, and then I'll talk about how this relates to the other prevention plus wellness programs. And of course, we have the programs, these integrated brief motivational programs. Some of these programs are evidence-based in that they've been evaluated and found effective, not just to prevent substance use, but also to increase healthy behaviors. And then our other programs are adaptations of the evidence-based programs. So we call them evidence-informed. But remember, all of our programs are screening and brief interventions, which are considered evidence-based practices by a lot of organizations, including SAMHSA, Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration. So this is sport high school version. We have a middle school and elementary school version, and there's a table of contents. I'm just going to walk you through this so you can see what's entailed in the program manual. And you can see under section 2, there's directions for implementation. There's the individual script or the one-on-one script. If you want to sit down with a young person and present this directly to them, that's the more customized approach, the more tailored. And research shows that tailoring of an intervention can enhance its efficacy. So that's a great way to implement your sport or other PPW, prevention plus wellness program, that's implementing it one-on-one. And in our experience, when we do that, youth love it. They love that attention, that personalization. It's almost like you're a private a trainer for them. And so they get very excited about that one-on-one lesson. But you can also more efficiently implement it in a group setting, whether that be schools, in school, out of school, boys and girls clubs. You can implement these programs wherever you could find young people, because they're efficient, because they're positive, because they're scripted, because they're driven by PowerPoint slides. Very, very easy, intuitive, positive, aspirational kind of an intervention, and they're designed to immediately motivate and initiate behavior change. So these are motivational interventions. That's prevention plus wellness. Section 5, you get a screening survey and a goal plan, because these are screening and brief interventions. There's a screening survey and a goal plan to initiate the behavior change, and evaluation materials are built in so that you as the prevention and health specialist, whether you're a teacher or a coach or counselor or nurse, or social worker, or it doesn't matter who you are, even a student implementing this to your peers, you're going to have these built-in tools to evaluate, to monitor and evaluate your program quality, fidelity, and outcomes. We also have an online goal plan if you want to share that as a follow-up, and optional parent flyers. We even have some materials for flyers and the letter that can go out to parents. That's an extra sort of a bonus intervention. You can use it as a follow-up if you want. But we also have in our program offerings, one session parent program lessons. So this lesson for youth, we also have a parent version of this, so you can train parents to provide the same positive image and behavior communications and goal setting at home that you might be presenting to youth with this manual in a school setting, for example. All right, so let's go past the introduction and let's start looking at the steps for implementation, because that was one of the objectives today. So you have steps for implementation, and now we highly recommend that you get some training for your program, even though the programs are brief, even though they're scripted. It's very important in our experience to have the training so that you can fully understand the uniqueness of your program and how it can be best implemented with greatest fidelity, with quality, and to ensure the outcome. So that training, we have different versions of training. We've got the online self-paced training courses. You just take them anytime you want. The courses are usually take about 2 hours in length. So because the programs are scripted, you don't have to have a whole lot of time for the training. So that's very efficient and cost-effective for prevention and health specialists. We also have a live online training that's for groups. So if you set up a group, that can be a group that we're all in one spot physically, or you could all be logging in from separate locations on your devices. And that's the live online training. And then we have an on-site training where we can come to your location and provide training. And this training is for you to be certified for 3 years as a program implementer. We also have train-the-trainer programs. Okay, so training, that's very important, and we highly recommend that. But here's steps for implementation, starting with number 1. Even if you haven't implemented our programs, we recommend you go to our website, preventionpluswellness.com, drop in your email so you have notifications of this webinar, future webinars, and other offerings and research and so on that we share. If you're interested in this prevention plus wellness, brief interventions, holistic strategies for enhancing mental and physical well-being of youth and adults. So drop in your email and you'll get notifications from us. And once you do that, then you want to practice your script. Let's say you're going to be implementing this to youth, the sport high school version to youth one-on-one. Practice the one-on-one script. If you're going to be implementing it to youth in groups, practice the group script. You just read the script aloud, coordinate it with showing the slides until you're comfortable and confident that you can present this to your youth, and then you're ready to go. As simple as that. Practice makes perfect, of course. If you want to tailor your program, very simple, other evidence-based programs don't want you to make any changes to their program. We believe tailoring is essential in some settings, and it's very simple with Prevention Plus Wellness programs. All you have to do is take the PowerPoint slides and make some changes to the slides. So let's say that, now by the way, you'll see the slides because they're shown in the manual here, but we show in our slides positive images because we are showing representations of youth, and we want to promote them using engaging in the health habits, physical activity and sports, healthy eating, sleep, stress control, and and we use a variety of of um, of ethnicities and positive behaviors in our slides. But let's say that your group is maybe all Hispanic youth. So you wanted to show more Hispanics. You want those kids to see representation, positive representations of themselves, models of themselves. So you're welcome to switch out and include more Hispanic youth in those slides, not a problem. If you want to add a little extra content, so for example, one organization wanted to address high caffeine beverages, so they added a little bit of that content in one of the slides or add an extra slide, not a problem. We just recommend that if you do alter the slides, you send them to us at Prevention Plus Wellness so that we can review them for you, ensure that the model, the theoretical model is still intact, screening, brief intervention, that model is intact, and we can give you feedback, and then we can also learn from you. So just let us review your slides if you make any alterations, but you are allowed to tailor your slides. And then you want to make copies of your program materials for implementation copies. And so you get your manual, and then you get a digital download of your reproducible materials. So you can make copies of your screening surveys, of your goal plans, and anything, the parent flyers if you want, etc. So you don't need to come back to us to make any of the purchases for youth. Everything is there in your manual or your digital downloads. You just make copies, and so you could implement this to countless young people. One purchase and then you're ready to go. So make copies. So let's say you're presenting this to a group of 20 youth, then you want to make 20, I'd say maybe a few extra 25 copies of your screening survey, your goal plan, pre-post survey if you're using paper versions, and then you're ready to go. And immediately before the lesson, we have built in a pre-test and post-test survey. We've got the paper versions, but now we also have online versions. So especially if you're dealing with high school youth and even middle school, and even in some settings, elementary school, we can send you a customized link to a pre-test and a post-test survey. Or we could send you customized QR codes so that's just for you and your organization. So you show the link or the QR code to the youth before the lesson. They click on it, they point their camera at it, their laptop or whatever they're using, their tablet, open it up, complete it. It's very brief. Even our latest version, the health behaviors pretest survey, I think is 6 minutes to complete. So they complete the pretest, you launch and present your lesson. And then it's ideal if you come back to those youth a month or so later to do the post-test, because there's now measures in the surveys of 30-day substance use and 30-day health behaviors, in addition to risk and protective factors. Now, if you can't come back a month later or later, at least a month, because there's 30-day behavioral measures. If you can't come back 1 month later, 2 months, 3 months later, and you have to do your post-test immediately after the lesson, you can do that as well if you have to. But you have this option of, if you can come back a month or so later, you'll be able to use the and look at the differences over time on the health behaviors, substance use and healthy behaviors measure. Let me know if there's any questions, if this is clear to you, or if you want me to clarify that. So that's item number 5. I'm just going through this list again of steps for implementation. It's in your manual, whether your manual is physical or digital. You can just look at these yourself. Then you're going to implement the script, read the script, show the slides. At the end, you're going to go through the goal plan with the youth. That's the action piece. They're going to read it. You're going to read it with them. You're going to help them complete it. They sign it, you co-sign it. That makes it a contract, and that increases motivational strength of your goal plan contract. And then you're going to again, collect the immediate post-test or come back even better a month or so later and collect the post-test from that group of youth. You could follow up by having youth continue to set weekly goals. That's even better because the more weekly goals they set, the greater the self-regulation skills and self-efficacy that they'll develop, which is so needed for them as young people. You can use the parent flyers. The parent flyers are in the sport programs. And we recommend re-implementing your brief intervention every 6 to 12 months. You give youth an opportunity to reflect on their health habits, to get motivational feedback, to set goals, to improve their mental and physical well-being. You can also complete the instructor survey. That's a 7-item survey, a self-assessment of you as the facilitator, the instructor, the implementer, whatever you're calling yourself. It doesn't really matter, but you complete this instructor survey, which assesses the quality with which you implement your lesson to that individual youth or the group of youth. And so that's a quality measure. It's a self-assessment, and that will help you track and monitor how well you're implementing your program over time. There's also a fidelity checklist. And if you are using, if you requested from us customize URL links or QR codes for your pre and post survey, you just ask us when you want to see the data. We'll send you the Survey Monkey link, and you could track the data as it comes in, and you could also download it in any format. But the Survey Monkey is nice because you have charts and so on. So, and if you collect enough data, we oftentimes do a free assessment, a free analysis, and we'll share that with you. Okay, so those are the steps for implementation very briefly. Now let's go to the scripts. We've got an individual script and a group script. So let's go to the group script first. I'm going to scroll down and find that group script. There's the group script, and let's just walk through it. And again, the beauty of Prevention Plus Wellness programs is they are scripted. That makes them very easy to implement. You just practice the script, and also increases fidelity across implementers, across time, across setting. So as you can see here, there's an introduction, and notice that there's brackets here. The brackets are one of two types of information. The brackets mean that's information for you as the facilitator or the implementer. And so it's just reminding you here, right after that introduction, it's just, if you're going to implement, if you're going to use the pre-test and a post-test survey that we provide, or that you have your own, perhaps, now's the time to implement the pre-test. Again, if you want us to send you a customized URL link or QR code to this pre and post survey, you just request it from us. And the surveys measure risk and protective factors to substance use and health behaviors, and 30-day substance use and health behaviors. And when I say substance use, I'm talking about 5 substances, regardless of what program, Prevention Plus Wellness program, the surveys all measure 5 substances. The substances are alcohol, tobacco, e-cigarettes, cannabis, and opioids, and a number of healthy habits: physical activity, nutrition, sleep, stress control, goal setting. And again, those are casting a broad net because you are implementing a multi-health behavior intervention when you do provide Prevention Plus Wellness programs. So here's the introduction. There's a reminder to implement your pretest. The pretest that we provide online, 6 minutes approximately. The post-test a little bit longer, about 8 minutes. So you know they're quite brief. And there it is. There's your script. You literally read the script hello for the next several minutes. I'll be talking with you about the Sport Prevention Plus Wellness program, and this is really an exciting new fitness and health program. And together we're going to be looking at habits that can make you look better, feel better, and improve your performance, not just at physical activities, but school and relationships even. So you can see how I read that. I, sort of use my own terminology, my own, cadence, etc. But the point is you present the script, you don't want to miss any of the script that's there for you, it reminds you, and once you practice it, it'll almost become rote memory and you'll be able to glance at it, at the script, and you want to present it with a lot of enthusiasm, particularly in a group setting, because you want to get youth motivated. You want to get them excited about this brief lesson you're presenting to them, and you want them to reflect on what you're going to ask them in relation to their own behavior. So through increasing their awareness and through reflection, and then motivation with the feedback, then the goal setting is the action piece. So very well organized, and it's all laid out very easy to follow. So screening survey is next. So you're going to hand them the screening survey. You make copies of the screening survey. It's just 5 items, 6 items, and the screening survey, unlike most brief interventions like SBIRT, by the way, we do offer SBIRT versions of our programs, but unlike typical SBIRT, where you're using a validated screener to identify kids that are at greater risk for substance use, the screener that we're using is purely to increase their awareness of their health habits, not just alcohol in this case, or whether you use their cannabis program, marijuana, etc., but also their physical activity, their breakfast and nutrition, their sleep. So you're getting them to think about their overall health behaviors. And then you're going to read, now take out the screening survey, complete it. This is for them. You won't be collecting this. They'll just be completing it, and they can take it home, throw it out, whatever they want. It's theirs. But notice there's the slides. There's the slides that you show while you are presenting your lesson to one youth or to groups of youth, in person, virtually. This is so they have something to look at, so they can see positive models of themselves, and so they can see the key image terms reflected and reinforced on the slides. And then you could also, it helps you too, because there it is, there's a slide, complete the health and fitness screening survey. So it reminds you as well where you're at in your presentation of your consultation or your lesson. And now feedback begins. This is the feedback. There's actually 3 parts to your intervention. There's screening, there's feedback, there's goal setting. So you did the screening, that's the screening survey, and the screening survey for this particular program, the Sport, Alcohol, and Drug Prevention plus Wellness Program for high school students, the first question was, what sports physical activities did you play in the last year? And so this is the feedback now to them individually or in a group in this case about how they responded to this question. Did they participate in sports and physical activities in the last year? And you're going to ask them to raise their hands, and you're going to read the screening survey, in this case aloud this time to the group, and you're going to have them raise their hands if they played any baseball or softball, basketball. Even if they play, they don't have to be on a team. If they dribbled a basketball, if they shot a basketball at, in a local park or at their home, if they rode a bike, if they walked, if they surfed, if they swam, and then they could even add other things that may not have been listed. And I would highlight not just sports, but chores. Did they wash dishes? Did they mow the yard? Did they do something at home? Did they work for somebody? And a lot of hands will be raised, so you're going to be highlighting the positive norm that my peers are physically active. That's a positive social norm you're highlighting there to the group. And now you present the feedback. It comes in 2 components, 2 elements. The first is is the benefits of this healthy behavior, in this case, sports physical activities, and then how substance use, particularly alcohol, because of the program using sport, alcohol harms sports and physical activities. So going back to the benefits, here's the benefits. Good for you. Sports physical activity is a great way to get regular exercise. Sports physical activities are fun. They help you look fit and strong, feel good about yourself, give you lots of energy, and they can help you do better in school. So, there's a lot of image terms there, they're fit and strong and energy and other benefits, like feeling good about yourself and doing well in school. So you're highlighting the benefits, particularly any positive images. They're shown there in that slide, highlighting, help you look, again, strong, feel good about yourself, energy, do better in school. And now the second slide. However, an active lifestyle, alcohol don't mix. Using too much alcohol can hurt your performance in sports and physical activities in school. It can also have a negative impact on your health and your relationships with friends and family. These are really important to youth, and that's why they're highlighted. And this is how the integration of behaviors are done within prevention plus wellness programs, how we integrate substance use as being harmful to these desired behaviors and images of themselves in the future. And then feedback on the second item in the screening survey, regular physical activity. And there's a repeating of the screening survey question in the slide. So, that's good. You can read it or have them read it. There's the benefits of regular physical activity. You just read the script. And then we integrate at this point on some discussion questions. So the discussion questions really take the screening survey to another level. So we're going to continue to ask youth to think about their lifestyle, their behaviors. What types of sports or the physical activities would you like to try or do more of? You're going to pause, let them reflect on that. If you have time, you could ask for a couple of youth to share their responses. But again, reflection is so very important to the behavioral change process. And so that's why we have built-in discussion questions. And then substance use, how it harms regular physical activity. And then physical activity norms are addressed about, what friends and family are supporting you with your healthy behaviors. A discussion question, which of your friends and family members actually encourage you to engage in health habits that promote fitness and health. Very important messaging there. Then breakfast and nutrition. Do you usually eat a healthy breakfast every morning? For example, there's some foods that are considered healthy, wheat toast or whole wheat toast, cereal, low-fat milk, eggs, oatmeal, lots of yogurt, lots of different things. And the benefits of healthy nutrition, there's that discussion question, what types of healthy foods would you like to eat? Would you like to eat more of? Let them think about that. And then get some responses if you have time for that. However, alcohol interferes with nutritional uptake. And then on to sleep, 8 or more hours of sleep, essential for energy, for performance, for interacting with friends, teachers, family. What's one thing you can do to help you increase your sleep quality or get more sleep? And then how alcohol and drugs interferes with sleep. Then you come to this second part of the feedback. The first part, you're integrating substance use, how it harms the health habits. Now, a little bit more information just on substance use. So you're addressing other risk factors that we know influence substance use. So, for example, you're going to be talking about how alcohol can cause life problems. And of course, this differs depending on which prevention plus wellness program you're using. If you're using The marijuana prevention plus wellness program. This is going to be how marijuana causes life problems. What are marijuana myths, for example? Most youth do not drink alcohol, use marijuana, vape, e-cigarettes, etc. So social norm messaging. And then choose for yourself, plan ahead. We want youth to plan ahead and to be reminded and to be given recommendations for overall wellness, not just to avoid alcohol and drugs, but to work toward the ultimate goals of a full hour of physical activity every day, minimum 8 hours of sleep every day, a healthy breakfast every day, 5 fruits and vegetables. I know these are goals. These are, to achieve and to work toward, as challenging as they are. But youth are so far from achieving them. Only not even a quarter of high school youth in the United States, according to the latest youth risk behavior survey data, not even a quarter achieve the required amount of physical activity. Not even a quarter get 8 or more hours of sleep. Only 25% eat a breakfast every day. We don't even know what the quality of that breakfast is. These behaviors, or in this case, the lack of these behaviors, the lack of physical activity, the lack of nutrition and breakfast, the lack of sleep, are highly associated with substance use, but also mental well-being as well as physical well-being. And that's the feedback. And then you go to the goal plan, the contract. This is the action piece. Now take out your copy of the goal plan. There's some examples of how they could set goals. And then once they're done, you can give them the post-test, or even better, follow up a month or 2 or 3 months later with a post-test. So here's the screening survey, just so you can see the screening survey. What sports physical activities did you play in the last year? Is the first question. Do you participate in physical activity at least 30 minutes 4 or 5 times a week, regular physical activity? Do your friends influence you to participate in regular physical activity? Do you usually eat a healthy breakfast every morning? Do you usually get 8 or more hours of sleep? So only 5 questions. That's the screening survey. Oops, sorry, 2 more items. In the past 30 days, what's the greatest number of alcoholic drinks you had? From 5 or more drinks to 0. And what's your gender? And we only ask that because if you do present this to youth one-on-one, we will tailor the feedback on whether they say, so the recommendations for drinking, federal national recommendations are based on whether you're male or female. So that's why that question is asked. So, and then the goal plan. Here's the goal plan has multiple components to it. The recommendations for overall health. Keep in mind, being fit doesn't mean being perfect. Your main goal is to have a healthy body image, not engage in unhealthy behaviors. So, choose to avoid alcohol and drugs, and then identify one health behavior, identify the specific behavior, the amount, the frequency, they sign, co-sign. There's even a 7-day calendar log, and then a lot of good directions for them to post and to track their behaviors over time. And I want to stop at this point and see if anybody has any questions. I see that one person already wrote something. Winnie says, good afternoon. I've taken the training class, but it seems as though I didn't purchase the one that allowed us to use the curriculum. And then I saw that question earlier, Juanita, and all you have to do is go to our website. If you, I just had another thought here. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. If you took the wrong training class, that's one thing. But if you ordered the wrong training class, but you still paid for one, that's fine. You could still take the one that you need. So if you need to order another online self-paced course, you just go to Prevention Plus Wellness, go to training and order one. But if you think you selected the wrong one and you've already paid for one, you just pick the right one that you want to take. So it's as simple as that. I hope that makes sense. How does the individual script differ from the group script? Let's say you want to present this to youth one-on-one. So you sit across from a youth and you're going to, present the screening, feedback, goal setting to youth one-on-one. Well, you're going to use the individual lesson script. Same slides, same screening, survey and goal plan, and very similar content. The key difference is that same introduction and so forth. The key difference is that when you present the feedback to this one youth, you're going to be able to present the feedback based on how they answered each screening survey question. So let's say for screening survey question number 1, sports physical activities in the last year, let's say that they did play some sports or physical activities. They walked, they rode a bike, and they maybe threw a baseball. So then you'll provide this feedback to them. Yes, they got some physical activity. And so you'll just say to them, oh, I see you did participate by riding a bike, for example. Good for you. So you're going to just recognize where they're at with regard to that particular behavior from that screening survey. So you can look at the screening survey answers, or you could just have them answer out loud, what sports physical activities did you play in the last year? Let's say they said none, which is unless they were bedridden, so they're going to say something. But if they said none, then you'd read the no. See, notice it's in red. No response is, greater risk. That's why we highlighted it. And here's the response. I see that you may not have played any sports or physical activities. You can really improve your health and how well you feel by being just a little bit more active. So notice the feedback is either positive or it's neutral, no negative feedback, and you just follow the feedback scripts, and you're just going to read one feedback to that individual youth. Either it's going to be green, good, go, or it's going to be red, no, greater risk. And that's for all of the behaviors. So let's say, for example, let's just scroll down to the behavior for breakfast. If they ate their breakfast and they said yes, they usually eat a healthy breakfast every morning. You read the green, the yes, the green, good, go. Looks like you eat a healthy breakfast. Wonderful. Let's say they answered no, which is very possible that they would answer no, because most youth are not eating a breakfast every morning. Looks like you may not be eating a healthy breakfast. Try eating a healthy breakfast every day. It can have a big effect. And then there's some information on what a healthy breakfast could be. So you're going to encourage them if they're not engaged in healthy behavior, and you're going to recognize and reward them if they are engaged in the health behavior. And then the opposite happens when you get to the substance use item. That's alcohol. So depending on what they answered for alcohol, if they said no, they didn't drink anything in the last 30 days, looks like you're not currently using alcohol, good for you, you'll read that response. If not, you'll read one of the other responses. Okay, so the key difference, in other words, between the group script and the individual script is the individual script a little more tailored to, the feedback is tailored to the screening survey answers that they provide. Okay, I think I've gone through just about everything that I had planned to do. So I'm going to pause again one more time and give you a chance. If anybody has a question, now is the time to answer it. Go to the Q&A and ask a question or make a comment. And let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about. I'm going to pause at this point and see if there's anything else you want to know at this point. I think I gave a good overview, not just of the sport, alcohol, drug, one lesson, prevention plus wellness program, but all of our adaptations of these programs, whether our programs are addressing alcohol or alcohol and cannabis, or marijuana separately, or opioids or e-cigarettes, or programs for young adults, In Shape, alcohol. We also have a young adult opioid and stimulant program. All our one session programs. We also have multi-session programs, which we didn't discuss today, but I'll just highlight the two of them. One is called Sport 3. It's actually 3 lessons, talks about the big 3 substances: alcohol, marijuana, and e-cigarettes, in 3 separate lessons. And then we have Sport Health Behaviors, that's 6 lessons, and that addresses all the health habits. 3 lessons on physical activity, 2 on nutrition, 1 on sleep and stress control. Alcohol and drugs are integrated throughout that, but that's health behaviors. It's 6 sessions, and that's a favorite of health educators. Okay, I don't see any other. I just see the one question from Juanita. I don't see any other questions. Last chance. If you have a question, you have a comment, go to the Q&A. I will follow up with everybody here, and I will send you a link to this recorded session so that you can review it yourself, or you can share it with others if you'd like, and I highly encourage you to do that. And I will send those of you here that have been with us today a certificate for 1 hour CEU for spending time with us today. And I don't see any other questions, so I'm just going to say, God bless you all. Thank you for what you do for youth and families in your region. If we can help in any way, just reach out to us, preventionpluswellness.com. There's a messaging tool on our website, and let us know. By the way, there's a bunch of free resources on our website under the heading of resources. So check that out. There's a bunch of parental resources, and there's also resources to promote awareness of our programs. And thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Again, let us know if there's anything we can do to help you all in the future. Bye-bye. Thank you.